Good Monday morning, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. These are the only guineas that are left. Look at them. Look how cute they are. Say hello. Say we're wild and crazy already. Yeah, we're about a month old and we're still teeny weeny, but we're starting to get feathers and act like little teenage guineas. But anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. I hope everybody's doing well on this Monday. Here comes Zoomy, not Zoom Boy down the road. This is Zoomy the cat. Meow, meow. Zoomy was dumped here. At the same time, they dumped Lucifer. Yes, I renamed Squeak Lucifer. You know, the cat that attacked me May 1st, May Day, the Luciferian witch holiday. So they dumped Zoom Boy here, who's neutered. He's a neutered male, so he's friendly and he's hilarious. But I named him Zoomy. He's not doing it now. I would love for you to see how he zooms around the property. He literally takes off, but he's looking a little lazy right now. He's hanging out with Tina, our rooster. Yes, Tina Turner was named by you guys. When Tina Turner was born last year, she had a hairdo like no other chicken that I've ever had, and I asked you guys to name her. I thought it was a she, and you guys named her Tina Turner, which was really appropriate. And then, actually not too long after that, the real Tina Turner passed away. But my little Tina here, my little Tina Turner, turned into a rooster, but I never changed his name. So I still name him Tina, and he knows his name is Tina. But I want to show you another thing that the criminals do. And please let me know if this happens to you. This is how psychotic these people are. Okay, they go into my freezer. And I know this because everything I've been taking out of the freezer lately to unfreeze and use so that I could replace items have been stabbed. There's a hole in it. And when you place things in the freezer, you want them to be as secure as possible. And I would never put anything into my freezer that had a hole in it. But now this is the second or third bag of food that I've removed this week that has a stab in it. You see that, guys? This is a frozen vegetables from the local store. I'm trying to use up a lot of the frozen food and then replace it. Because even though it's frozen, it can get freezer burn and stuff. And I'm actually glad that I'm cleaning out my freezer, because now I'm noticing everything that they have stabbed and poked a hole in it because they want to deteriorate your food. They want to infect your food. And then I have to wonder, okay, did they just stab the food to cause it to deteriorate earlier than it should have, or did they infect it with something? I don't know. Well, I'm not going to eat it raw, and it will be boiled. So, please leave a comment down below if your perverts, if your pervert predator stalkers go into your freezer and stab your food. I'd like to know. I'd like to know if this happens to anybody else, or if you've noticed that this is happening. I remember when these bizarre events started happening to me, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what was going on for years. I only knew that people were following me. I knew that because I photographed them. Since 2015, I've been photographing people stalking me. I actually even followed one. When I lived in Manalapan, New Jersey, I followed one all the way to the other side of Manalapan, and it was a female. There were a lot of females stalking me. Now, these were not the crazy feral cat cartel people who also stalk me, but these were what appeared to be agents. They were always driving nice cars, but of course in New Jersey, a lot of them were driving minivans, because that's what people do in New Jersey. They drive minivans because in New Jersey, people have children. they have more than one child. And in fact, many of the families have 3 and 4 children. Statistically, 3 children. Here comes Zumi. Come on, boy. You want to say hi? Say hi. So they dropped off Zumi. Yes. And you look like a lot like the cat that they murdered. Right, Rexy Poo? You look a lot like Rexy Poo. Right? Right? Do you look like... Oh, bless you. Yes, after they murdered Rexy Poo, who was a cat that was left here by another targeted person, who was not anything that I expected. And please, people, beware. A lot of targeted people, especially if you're only talking to them on the phone, they're not exactly how they appear when you meet them in person. And I'm going to say this just for the record. And I know the targeting and the stalking and all this harassment brings people together because we have a common, there's some kind of a common cause. We're all experiencing a form of torture, and nobody should be experiencing this, and we do need to speak out as a group. However, just like in the real world, before this happened to you, remember your former life. Not everybody you would meet you would like or resonate with, right? Sometimes, I remember, because I'm very intuitive, before they started torturing me, in fact, psychic, I would meet somebody and I would immediately feel either a resonance or a repelling of that individual. Since I was a child, I would get the creepy jeepies. And, my mother would bring home friends and stuff, and sometimes I just didn't like them. I couldn't articulate into words why. I was too young. I just felt that there was something not right about them. I felt that about the priests and the Roman Catholic Church when I was forced to go to church every Sunday and participate in the Mass and getting my communion and confirmation. Obviously, I was baptized. But I always got the creepy feelings when I would go into the confessional and have to confess my mortal sins about like smacking my brother or something like that, and have to say like 3 Hail Marys and 2 Our Fathers. But I would get the creepies from these priests. I especially got the creepy feelings, the way they looked at my mother, and I'm thinking, these are supposed to be pious men. Haven't they relinquished their desire for the opposite sex? And of course, most of them desire the same sex anyway, but that's their choice. But I always got the feeling that they were attracted to my mother, who was quite beautiful. See, it's true. Who is that? Was that you, Nippers? Was that you? That's Nippers. Nippers was born here last year. He was supposed to be a she. He was supposed to be a she, but he turned into a he. And he's handsome. But when you have more than one rooster and they do that, like he just did that 3 times. And then let's say Snowden will start. He'll start blowing the whistle, right? He'll start flapping his wings, puffing it up. There he goes. Puff it up. He'll start puffing it up, and then he'll crow. And then the other ones, like they have to exert their dominance, the roosters. There he goes. That's Snowden. And here's Tina. Tina. And there's my girlie, my little girlies. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of my girls don't have names. My older girls have names because I had so few. But my newer girls, I got so many from the hatchery, and I actually couldn't tell them apart. So I never named my girlies. Not all of the girlies. I named some of the girlies, but this is Miss Kitty. She was left with Rexy Poo by that targeted person. So that targeted person was a male. And he was actually, I met him on Derek Robinson's phone call. You know, he's got a podcast. This is many years ago. And I've actually spoken to him on the phone when I lived in Manalapan, New Jersey. And I spoke to one of his friends, and they seem like a normal guy, you know. He says that he was like a retired chiropractor, and he had a lot of good advice and stuff, but he wasn't nothing like what he said he was. First of all, he told me he didn't smoke, drink, do drugs. As soon as he showed up, I smelled cigarettes on him. They dropped out of his pocket. And then he confessed that he was a recovering addict. And all of this, but he wasn't recovered at all. And he had a lot of really nefarious agenda. He had the audacity, I'm going to tell you this, and this is why you have to be really careful. I invited him here to meet, to stay for a week or so. He had the audacity to forward his mail from New York to my physical address, not my post office box, without my permission, without even asking. Literally for a year, I was receiving his mail here, addressed to his name at my physical mailing address. I actually had to have the sheriff's department remove him from my property. Yes. This is a targeted male. And then he started harassing me after he left, and he refused to take most of his belongings, including his cats. And then it was like 9 months later, he asked for his cats back. I said, what, are you kidding me? One, you're not coming here again. And after all this time, this is not a boarding. I didn't board your cats here. You refused to take them with you. They're mine now. They're living a good life here. Except that Rexy Poo then became tortured. He became part of their plan, their agenda, which was devastating. But Miss Kitty's still roaming around. There she goes, and she's quite chubby. she's quite chubby. But so that's just, I wanted to just demonstrate. Go into your freezer, and of course, you know, sometimes, you know, my perps and your perps are watching my channel, so they're going to say, oh, well, that's a great idea, I'm going to do that. I actually had a targeted female in Florida many years ago that I was allegedly friends with, but she unfriended me because of an animal issue. She said that she didn't want to talk to me anymore because when we would discuss our targeting, our individual targeting, like she would tell me what was happening to her, and that I would tell her what was happening to me. She says every time that I told her what was happening to me, it's like her perps were listening in and then started doing it to her. But meanwhile, my perps weren't doing what her perps were doing to her. So, I don't know, guys. I mean, maybe it's a total BS, but please look in your freezer. I'll look at your food and see if this has happened to you. And also, people are not who they claim to be. And I'm not going to say too much about it, but, you know, there are a lot of podcasts for targeted people. I mean, you all know who they are. I'm not going to mention them. You know, they're on Monday nights, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They usually have the call like from 8 o'clock at night until midnight or 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and somebody else takes over. And you know who the podcast hosts are. Many of them are planned opposition. They're agents. And a lot of the people that get on the calls are not targeted people. Just the way people who leave comments in my comments section on YouTube, you may or may not be targeted, may or may not be perpetrators. They change over, you know, they start out watching the videos and then new people join in, obviously, and I love that. Thank you so much for all you new subscribers.
people are curious about what's going on. And this is happening not only in the United States and in every state, in every town in the United States, but it's happening worldwide. It's happening a lot in the UK, Australia, Japan, China, New Zealand. There are some countries where it appears to not be happening as often. Africa is one of them. And I don't know if anybody has been watching Tucker Carlson. He interviewed the president, the brilliant president of El Salvador, and he's changed that country around, where now El Salvadorians who have left the country due to the crime and stuff are now moving back, including, I think he said 12% of Americans are moving there. He's absolutely brilliant. I like the way he thinks. We need more leaders like him. And they call him a dictator. I don't know. If he's a dictator, we need more people like him. Let me tell you, we need somebody like him here in the United States, because what we currently have is not working. I don't know his name. I think it's Nayib, something like that. He's a handsome guy. He's young. I think he's 40 or 42 years old. And he said something during the interview with Tucker Carlson when Tucker asked him, how long will you remain president? He says, I guess by law or whatever it could only be 5 years. So I don't know if it's 5 years per term, if he gets voted in again. But whatever he's doing is working there. And he even said that there are other countries leaders from other countries that have contacted him to ask him for his recipe, his secret and stuff. And not only is he so eloquent that he is speaking English so perfectly, that's not his native language, which is so impressive. But, he just beats, I can't even say it on YouTube, our current administration. I can't even call him a leader. Our current, the one that was not so voted in a few years ago. But go see the Tucker Carlson recent interview with the president of El Salvador. Absolutely amazing. And somewhere in between, I don't know if it was 9 minutes, 12 minutes, in between there, he starts talking about the satanic gangs. That he noticed that the gangs, there are always gangs, always. But that these gangs had a satanic undertone, a satanic agenda, that they were different. So I would recommend you're watching that. But anyway, this is my Monday morning rant about poking the pervert pokers. The pervert vegetable pokers. The pervert freezer pokers. Okay? The psychopaths. Psychopath perverts. That's what they are. Those letter P's. Perp. Psychopath. Perverts. Predators. All the good P words. That's what you can discuss about the gang stalkers. They're organized criminals. That's all it is. It's an organized crime network. They're not gang stalkers. They're not gangs. It's organized. It's a network using high tech. Right, Miss Kitty? Say hi. But anyway, I'm going to sign off for now. I hope everybody's having a good day. It's beautiful. Look at the sky. It's blue. It's totally blue. Surprise, surprise. But I hope everybody's doing well. Please remember to hit the thumbs up, like, comment down below. Are your vegetables poked? Go look in your freezer and see if any of your bags have been poked. Because sometimes you throw things in the freezer and they could be in there for a month, 2 months, even longer than that. Go check it out, guys. Signing off for now.